What's going on, everybody? Subscribe to the channel if you're not. We're going to talk about why you'll always get your wishes. And it's pretty simple, as with most things are. And one of the main things are going to be examples for this. So, people always have wishes. People always want to, usually they have like some inspiration, or there's, AKA a dream. They have a dream. And the funny thing about it is we are somewhat in like a dream-like state, our existence, our reality. But anyway, aside from that, why you'll always get your wishes, because you have to. And the reason for this and what it means is because you have to get your dreams, because they will eventually come to you. And what do you mean? Well, how this really happens, the real nature and reality of it, they don't tell you this right now in this time period, this existence. It's hidden from us, but it's coming out now as you see people are waking up and more people are becoming aware that they're not the body. Some people are so attached to the body, and it's not that to take care of it or necessarily to praise it, honor it. It's more so some people are so attached to the body, you can see that they're stuck in their head. They think they are the body. And things along those lines, like whatever cognotions that you want to say, you can just see, especially females, when they take pictures, how it's just right on their face. You can actually read it. I can read their face right through, especially as, it doesn't matter what, especially if someone's sad, it's very easy to tell. Of course, there's people who hide it, but if you're really good, you can see right through. People post pictures and they're not always, they fake it on the pictures anyway. And another thing is, and I understand people want good pictures and stuff, but when you try so hard to take a picture, which is alright to do like every now and then, but you can see on everybody when they take a picture, they try to get the best picture they can take. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but then you're also like putting makeup on, getting in the best position, getting in all this lighting for a photo. It's, what are you trying? And it's there. They want to show you their beauty, basically, is what they're trying to show you, showcase you. But it's just like, that's all it is. That's all it is. I had to say that twice, and it's nothing more. Everyone has a face. Everyone has some physical structure, boobs, tits, chest, whatever, private parts, ass, mouth, nose. Mostly everyone does. So it's and people are like flaunting this. Anywho, when we talk about this, you always get what you want, because what happens when you don't get what you want? That can be a blessing too. That can be a curse, but it's more so going to be something good. If you don't get what you want in this life, as you would live the life that you're in, you will have a regret of not doing that, and you will think about that and always come back to that thought for most people, because most people aren't going to drop it, because they'll have a regret, an actual regret. So this regret that you could, and this is not, there could be multiple ones, it's not just one. This regret will actually anchor you back in after you die. Because the goal of life is not to come back to live another life. And it's not, that didn't sound sad, but it can sound sad in a way. Because life is supposed to be fun and exciting. So, anywho, when you die, if you still have a regret, a dream that you didn't do, you will come back into another body to go live that dream, that expectation that you had. One of the prime examples of this, and before we get there, I want to say one thing. There are people who come purposely back instead of like unintentionally. People who purposely come back because they set a cause to come back, so there's something they want to complete, an adventure, an expedition. And we'll get into people in a second. I was about to say, one of the main things of when people coming back that I mean, it's different. It's everyone's dream, so it's different. But one thing is, people like in relationships, they want to be in this romantic relationship. So that's a great reason to come back, because if you always want like this great relationship, a great family, because at the end of the day, like, family is nice and stuff, but it's kind of, it's rudimentary. It's just like our common nature is to have a family, and more so in a community, in a travel. But why? Because we are all part of each other. And right now we live in, for most part, especially in first world countries or in first worlds, USA, Europe, and probably things like that. We're separated. We don't live in communities, which is an egotistical thing, being separated from people. And even though we live so close, we don't talk to our neighbors and so forth. This is well designed by someone's mind, because they're stuck in the mind, which isn't God's presence or natural existence, because what's in everybody and everything is the same thing. But we like to push each other. That's the whole game, is to push each other away, then realize, oh, hey, I am these other people. You know, I want to fight, argue with these other people. Because when you don't realize this, you want to fight and argue with other people and make up differences, differentiating. You want to try to look drastically different. You want to make yourself sometimes stand out. It all depends on the situation. And then the color of people's skin, you know, that's when it gets real deep. And other things along those lines. One of the basic most fundamental one is male and female. Because male and female, there's no difference between a male and female when it comes to the spirit, because the spirit's neither. The spirit's both. I think it's called Aphrodite. Spirit is female and male. It's not one or the other. It has to be both inside of it. So technically we are both. We just have a physical appearance when it comes to it, and maybe a couple other few things but it's not for the mishaps of this video. Anyways, so you'll come back to live a life if you want, like, a family. Let's say you were in a family but never got the family, or a loved one that you really want, and so forth. You will come back to live that for sure. Some prime examples of this, and there's no evidence of this, but people who more than likely came back because they're stuck in their head. That's what it is. These people are not, you know, you could say, I'm not here to say they're enlightened, but most of the time they're probably not. Some prime big examples, big names, would be like Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was the guy who invented Apple. See, a lot of this is pretty much pre-planned. Steve Jobs came to live another life. He always had of doing this big venture, whatever it was. And maybe he's probably done big ventures in the past. But he'd done it again. He died, he came back. and known as Steve Jobs, and he created Apple, or whatever. Because he wanted to do. There's something. See, I can't give these answers of him, but maybe he was trying to help people, or maybe he was trying to just make money and be selfish. This is a great reason to come back. You know what I mean? Great, back to life. And you don't, like I said, unless you plan on it, you don't really want to come back to life, because it's a cycle. You're fucking stuck in a cycle. Anywho, that's what everything's in one gigantic cycle. And your goal basically is to break it. They don't want you to know this, and not even that, they don't know it themselves because they're stuck in the head, and hence they keep coming back. Evil people definitely come back too, because that's not our natural state. Basically, we want to move to a natural state. God wants us, everyone's going to go there eventually. It's just how it is. Like, you're in my life, we're all in each other's existence right now, and pretty much always are. But physically, right here in this world, there's going to be people are with me right now, but but they might not be woken up, awakened. They might not be enlightened. They might take lifetimes, but you're going to get there, because that's just how the force works. You just eventually get there. That's why stress and trauma and I don't know the word, suffering, hear that a lot. That's why that happens, because suffering is basically the beings to realize, like, oh, you don't have to suffer. That's basically it. Now, so that's basically it for the video. This is a long topic. I want to make the video short, but that's the basics for it. And you end up eventually getting your wishes. But what the best thing to do is, unless you make a conscious decision to do it. Some other people I want to name other than Steve Jobs. Especially movie stars. And some of these people could be very evil and crooked and be in positions of power, because that's just how sometimes it works. People, I'm not going to say like any names, but probably like George Bush, probably for sure him. Like I said, Steve Jobs, Mark, whatever his name is, Jeff Bezos, the guy who owns Amazon. These people you can still see these people have egos inside of them. You can see it. It's present. It's very, very present. It's just a little bit, like some of them only have a little bit, but it's making them hold on to the life, basically. And then there's people who choose to come back. So, that's very deep, way deeper. It's not complex thing. That's not a simple one. But because you're here for a reason, but the reason is so not to come back. All right, well, that's pretty much all for the video. It's pretty much longer. There's just a lot I had to say. Get out there. I could name a bunch of other people, but I don't really pay attention to them too much, because I don't know. People who are all about themselves, egotistical, and maybe they don't think that, but it's not. I don't really pay attention to a lot of media necessarily. And I think that's about it. That's a good summary for this video. Alright, subscribe to the channel. We'll talk to you soon. If you have any questions, let me know.